Hello everybody, I am Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast, and I am back with another classic Doctor Who reaction. I am still in the William Hartnell years. I am near the end of the first season now, the penultimate episode of the first season, and of the Reign of Terror serial with the episode A Bargain of Necessity. This is, I believe, in fact, I know another one of these animated reconstructions. Yeah, not going to mess around too much at the beginning. Just a quick reminder to check out all the other stuff on this channel, including the film, TV, and music, and just general pop culture reviews and analysis and commentary and reaction videos that share the feed. And I very much also appreciate feedback, which you can leave as comments on this channel, or alternatively, you can email me at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get back to some Doctor Who. Whenever I have a slight gap in recording, that theme always makes me happy that I'm watching Doctor Who again. It just has such a otherworldliness and a promise of the endless possibilities of the format and the concepts of the show. It's just so exotic and alien and dangerous and unknowable. Yeah, very appealing.
Leon?
Yes.
You must be Ian.
That's right. Are you alone?
Yes. Jules said you might be able to help. Soldiers.
Yeah, a couple of people mentioned in the comments that about the editing. I said that I found it kind of disorienting how fast-paced the editing was on the animated version compared to the, out of necessity, the sort of stateliness of the editing on a normal episode. And yeah, it was confirmed by a few viewers that this was a little bit of artistic license on the part of the animators, and apparently they do calm that down a little bit on future installments. But yeah, it definitely creates a very different sense of tempo.
Yes, I know. You walked right into my trap, didn't you, Ian?
Bargain of necessity. Somebody else also mentioned that Ian's likeness is a little off compared to the other characters, and you know, it's not bad, but I'd agree with that. It's interesting that they chose to keep the animation black and white when they've taken liberties with the editing. I'm always fascinated to know how these choices are made. And were these animated ones, were they done by the BBC? Are these official? Yeah, any information about that would be really useful. If there was any bonus features on any of the DVDs or anything.
Information. You will cooperate, Ian.
It's just so fast editing.
Time to consider.
I don't need time. I have no information.
We'll decide that when you talk. And you'll talk. And you'll talk.
Oh, Doctor, I thought we were never going to see you again.
You should know by now, young lady, that you can't get rid of the old Doctor as easy as that.
Well, what is it? Robespierre said he wants to see you immediately.
This poor guy.
It's a matter of the utmost importance. Robespierre said immediately, citizen.
I think one of the challenges of reviewing or analysing or providing commentary for the animated versions, even more so than the reconstructions from the photographs, is that you're not getting a true representation of the production design. Because I think that one of the things that is very interesting to watch and comment on when it comes to Doctor Who is the level of production design. And you do get a sense of that from the reconstructions. The Marco Polo one, for example, I got a sense of what that looked like. So I don't know whether maybe I might opt for the photographic reconstructions in the future, because I feel like I am... I mean, these are an easier watch in some ways, but I feel like at least this compared to the Marco Polo one, I feel like I had more of a legitimate experience of watching the Marco Polo series than perhaps I'm getting here. But I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Good. She should remain in her cell, do you understand? Under no circumstances is the door to be opened.
Just as you say, citizen.
And if that order is disobeyed, I'll have you guillotined.
It's their bloody answer to everything, isn't it? They've just like, the day the guillotine was invented, they were like, right, here we go. This is the threat that we will issue under every set of circumstances. Ooh.
Yes, that's it.
Fun bit of music.
That's it.
The animated Hartnell looks good. I think, again, it speaks to just how iconic and angular and recognisable the character is. Even in silhouette, it makes it quite easy to render him. His kind of hawk-like, bird-like features lend themselves. You know, the angularity of him really lends itself to being rendered in this way.
Oh, I should never have taken Susan to see that physician.
Oh, don't blame yourself, Barbara. As it happens, everything's turned out very well. Might have taken us ages to find each other.
Do you think we stand a chance of getting out of here?
Well, my voice seems to carry some weight. Hmm?
Yes, well, I'm not surprised in that get-up.
yes, it's rather impressive, isn't it?
It's very impressive.
Now, listen. I'm going through that door. Give me a few minutes, then I want you to go through the door and straight out of the prison.
Are you serious?
Absolutely serious, but I've no time to explain. Just do as you're asked.
What about Susan?
Well, I'll look after her and follow later.
But, Doctor, you...
Now, there's no buts. Don't argue. You know my plans always work perfectly.
Great. Nice bit of animation there. You sort of captured Barbara's bitch please expression.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Perhaps what?
Well, if she were to escape, she could be followed. She'd meet these traitors.
It's like Inception, isn't it? The Doctor's just very good at kind of gaslighting people into thinking that they've had these ideas themselves.
And we'd arrest them. Mert once did this.
My dear, what an excellent idea. What an
But you
excellent
have
idea. Yes, of course.
independently
now, why
had.
didn't I think of that? Yes, that's what we'll do. And the mates will be delighted.
Fished in. Some great playful music in this serial.
Ian, I don't want anything to happen to you, really.
I love the way that people say his name. Ian? Ian?
This is your only chance. Do you realize that when I've finished with you, I'll transfer you to the prison? And then to the guillotine?
Again with the guillotine.
You wouldn't believe my story anyway.
Suppose you let me be the judge of that. How did you get to France?
You really want to know, eh?
The truth.
You might not believe me.
Yes. All right, lay off! Release him!
Animated action. Here we go.
What do you want?
Susan, it's me, child. Me.
Oh, Grandfather!
If I live long enough to have grandkids, I'm going to call them child as well. There's something very dignified and grandfatherly about that.
Grandfather, you found us!
I personally could follow and then arrest all of them. All I need from you is the
Is he pushing his luck? Does feel like he's pushing his luck here. Although this guy's desperate, so let's see. Will he pull this off?
key to that child's health.
Citizen, Lemaitre was very clear with his instructions. If that door is opened, I lose my head. We'll do as he says. Until then, that door remains closed.
Nice try, Doc.
Ah, good, Clement. I can still defeat my enemies.
What if he's just a decoy?
That is my worry, Lamette. Tonight, my men will be everywhere. Barras, it's your responsibility.
I shall not.
Yeah, it's classic part 5 in a time travel serial, this, isn't it? You know, we are spending a lot of time with non-series regulars, which is fine. You know, it's good stuff. It's well made. It's well performed. But I do think that, you know, anything that isn't intrinsic to the storyline of our lead characters or their interests is ultimately less interesting to me. So, yeah, I can see maybe, I'm starting to see maybe why this serial isn't as well regarded as a lot of the other ones. It's fine, but it does just feel like it is straying from the things that make the show compulsive watching a little bit. So, But again, I think this being the animated version probably isn't helping the cause too much, but we'll see.
Failure?
From what I could gather, half the people there take orders from him.
That sounds like the doctor, all right.
Doctor? You mean Susan's grandfather?
Yes, that's right.
And where's Susan?
Oh, she'll be along later with him. I just walked out.
Walked out?
See, it's just immediately more interesting when our principals are there and we're enjoying their chemistry and their history and the performances. It makes such a difference.
He was a traitor to you. To his side, he was a patriot.
Barbara, we've taken sides just by being here. Jules actually shot him. It could just as easily have been me.
It is interesting how Barbara is kind of the moral centre of the show in many ways. You know, like she does look at things with empathy and, you know, that historical context. And yeah, she's an interesting character and she's very consistent in that regard.
What about Robespierre?
Before you decide what people deserve.
Wow. Some powerful stuff there.
Grandfather!
Come on, child, quickly!
This poor guy, the amount of blunt force trauma he's been having to endure. Yeah, he just needs to get a better job.
Do you realize who you're talking to?
Not yet, but I intend to find out. Do you recognize this, citizen?
There's always a moment in these stories where the Doctor's bullshit just runs out, and I think we're there.
No, should I?
And these? They're yours, aren't they?
I'm so sick and tired of death, Ian. I never seem able to get away from it.
There is no way, Barbara.
Yeah, it's definitely a kind of reflective mood seeping into the show recently. You know, this sense of accumulation. They've been plucked out of their, you know, mundane, normal 1960s lives. And, you know, they have been thrust into a world of wonder and imagination and endless possibilities, but also a world of danger and death as well. So it's interesting to see that sort of the spectre of that weighing on the characters a little bit.
Well, there's no sign of your friends. Your friend has betrayed us.
Okay, so we've got the final episode coming up of the serial and of the season, or the series, as we say in England. Yeah, there was some good stuff in there in the end, actually. I think particularly as it returned to our key characters and we got to enjoy a little bit of humour and that kind of collegial fun and games, but also a little bit of that reflection, a little bit of a sense that the weight of what they've experienced, but also some conflict between Ian and Barbara, which is interesting. You know, we do see that Ian is often the pragmatist and Barbara is often the idealist, but of course the historian. So it's kind of like, you know, the logic of science versus the learnings of history combined with a more emotional, empathetic approach. So, yeah, there's some interesting stuff in that. Quick reminder that I appreciate feedback. Do leave comments on the channel here. It's really great to get a little bit of context on how these, I guess, these lost episodes are presented to us after the fact. And also, you can email me at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com, which reminds me to ask you to do check out that podcast as well, The Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike, where we go back and we watch some TV shows that we have already seen, unlike this first-time watch of Doctor Who, and as well as checking out some of the film, TV, music, and general pop culture stuff that shares this channel. But for now, I'm out of here, and I will see you again soon for the season finale, if you can call it that, of season 1 of Doctor Who and the final part of this historical serial. So back soon.